You
Absolutely. And I spoke to Edwin about this, and he was saying that, look, we shoot well on our first shot. We shoot 28, 30% when we get a good first shot. Just keep believing in that, guys. Look,
yeah,
every time we get the ball, we've got good percentages in our favor. Okay, and if we miss that one, we've got a chance of getting it again. And if we get another good shot, then we've got another high 20s percentage of putting that one in. So he was very focused on us, what we can do, as attacking and make the percentages work for us. There was another significant point towards the end of the game, with 38 seconds to go. Doss gave away so Doss got a free pass,
yeah.
and then there was a timeout, and so they're two in the lead with 38 seconds to go. And he said there was a mention like in the just at the beginning of the timeout, should we shoot this? Like, what are we going to do?
Welcome, Caffee K.C. International again with Tom Brady. We're gonna talk about some of the games of last weekend. Tom has watched a few, and I have watched a few. So we're gonna have a chat about that. Thank you again, Tom, for making the time and the effort.
Thanks, Dirk.
Uh,
I'm happy to be here. I enjoyed it last week, and yeah, like I enjoyed. I didn't watch any other games other than the top DOS 46 game. So let me get that out first of all.
okay. So yeah, microphones on and start chit chat. So you watched that game, and
I think for like first of all, I think we have to apologise for last week when we said, oh, like nothing really happens in korfball, like the best team wins.
yeah,
Yeah, it's nice to look at what they're doing, and then this week, wow,
yeah,
like some big results
surprising.
come up.
Yeah,
Like so, I watched Top last week, and I like enjoyed them as always, and I
yeah,
kind of tuned into the DOS 46 game. Like they're a good team, like, and they're not long up in the Korfball League, what 3, 4, 5 years, and they're obviously a decent team. So, but I wasn't necessarily expecting much, and then I kind of got a little bit excited when they started well, because look, if you're gonna do anything against a top team, like a good team, then you have to start well.
yeah,
And then really, they started like front defense, which is like quite brave. Remember we talked last week about Carzette against
yeah,
PKC, where
yeah,
look, if you're against a good team, well, maybe drag them down a little bit. But no, I thought they started with good front defense. It didn't necessarily stop Top from moving the ball though, and that's kind of what they're good at. They were floating it over. But I thought really right from the first attack, which had what we last week coined as the super division with Picard and Holtz, Brower and Split. I thought it looked very nice, but it just lacked a little bit of bite. It just
yeah,
was the ball was floating around, and then suddenly Nick Picard puts this ball over to Celeste Split. She's round her player, and she's got a running in shot. And I thought, okay, look, there we go. Look, they've
yeah,
they've
Split,
they've unlocked that,
yeah,
but that never really quite came back. That really kind of singular focus down that end, anyway.
yeah,
So as the game went on, I think DOS 46 went up like 7-3, and then okay, slowly, kind of like they got pegged back by Top, in particular with some really good scoring from Mixnell.
yeah. He
He,
was
he dominates that division in terms of the ball that he gets, but I love seeing him and Hendricks play together, and that left-handed pass that she gives from one side of the post to the other.
yeah,
They've scored so many goals over the years through that, and Mick looked really up for it today on that day. And so, yeah, so it was a decent first half. I think Top probably went in, what, 1 or 2 ahead? And it's
yeah,
looking like, okay, look, this is where they're going to sit on it. So they've got a new coach, Top, which is Leon Brunstall, and he's coaching with Baz Harland. And Leon's just come from the Tulips, the international setup, where I think he was personal trainer and coach. So I'd imagine there was a lot of the ideas and the continuity that goes with that. But I spoke with Edwin Bauman during the week,
okay,
well, yesterday, who was the coach of, or one of the coaches of DOS 46, along with Vessels, I don't know his first name. And like you know him as well. I think a
Yeah,
lot of international kind of people know him because he coached and played for the Czechs. And the thing that he said, one of the first things he said when I was talking to him about the game was, he said to his players, as you go out, look, you know, they're the tulips. These are the players. Look, they know them very well. But he particularly tried to build matchups on their big players where he was saying to the player, look, forget their reputation. You know, show them the respect as a player and as a human being that you always should have on there. But just play them as the player. Play the game. Don't play the reputation.
yeah,
And I think that's something that he did very well when he played against the Tulips at different times during his international career, and he set teams out. And that was pretty clear, really. They come to play, and
yeah.
Edwin admitted that they didn't necessarily kind of like expect to win, and winning wasn't the most important thing for them because obviously they're like all these teams. They're trying to build a good season, and you don't win, and you don't win the league in week three. You know, you win it
No,
right at the end. And then okay, just for our viewers that don't know the result, DOS 46 did eventually win, and and he was obviously very happy with that, but happy with the way that they played as well.
they were very bold. I guess they have the advantage that they are a new team and they are building and they are unknown in the statistics. So it's for
Yeah,
top, it's difficult. Well, if they analyze the opponent, I don't think they do. I think they go with their own strength. But if they want to analyze some of the players, well, there aren't just enough numbers yet of those new players. So that's for the moment that's an advantage if you perform uh, at that level.
absolutely, and players that are in the national squad and top has just got so many of them. It's their reputation to lose when they step out on the pitch against against young players like that every time. And I
Yeah,
really like the attitude of Dust 46 from the beginning. It was, we're going to play this game. We're not going to play your reputations. It's going to be about scoring. There were some really interesting tactical decisions as well. Somewhere towards the end of the first half, Dust 46 switched to rebound, and it slowed the game down a little bit. It made it a little bit niggly running around the feed, and it worked for a fair extent for DOS 46, and it really started to keep the scoring down. But
yeah,
then significantly, Top went rebound as well in the second half, and so we had it's quite a dreary game at times in terms of the scoring. But it was really fascinating to see the difference of how
exactly.
both teams were solving the problems that were
Yeah,
being set by defense.
I guess that will be. You spoke to him, but I guess if you start in front defense, okay, as an attacker you have to a little bit adapt and solve problems, and then the moment you solve the problems, and then you switch back to rebound defense, and you're creating new problems. And I guess that was maybe the look he was searching for.
Yeah, and well, Edwin's pretty honest, as you know, he pretty much speaks his mind, and he's not really giving too much away in terms of this. But he's saying, look, to play full on front defense for 50 minutes against a team like Top is very tiring and it's very, very difficult. And so he said you had it in their mind even before seeing the stage of the game that they would start
Well,
in front defense. He admires the Top team. He says that's the way that we want to play. Ultimately, it's just that we're not there at that level yet. So some of it is let's say the intensity that you have to bring to playing front defense very well is quite high, and
yeah,
obviously the preparation for the season hasn't been everything that it could be because of COVID. So and then there was a really good moment in the second half where Max Mallenstein got injured. So Top got back to winning, and I think what they were 15-12.
yeah,
15, 13, and it's looking like, okay, look, they're just going to run this out now. They're not playing particularly well. The shooting percentage, really, look, we could talk every game. You just look at the shooting percentage and then
yeah,
decide who you think is going to be the winner. But
yeah,
it was a bad game for Top at the office in terms of their shooting percentage. And it frustrated them. And you could see the frustration on them, and they're speaking to each other and they're speaking to the coach. But they're and then the best or most recognizable boy of DOS 46, Max Mallenstein, he got injured and he had to go off, which I think was a calf injury, it looked
yeah,
like. And then there's this kind of like a bouncier, kind of like
yeah. New,
quicker, maybe taller guy came on, Bart Velig, he scored his first shot. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
thinking, hang
that's
on, look, all right, this is quite interesting. Top don't get a goal. It goes back down. They score that next shot. Then the next DOS 46 attack, they don't get a shot, and then they score the first shot of the attack after that, and suddenly they're back in it, and their spirits are up.
yeah,
And like the psychological part of korfball really just, I mean, obviously teams talk about it a lot, and you do hear it talked about on commentary, but it was all there
yeah.
to be displayed really with top playing not to lose or not to lose their reputations and DOS 46 playing this game where they're thinking, they're starting to believe. They were really starting to believe once they start hitting these shots. And then, unfortunately for top, they started to doubt themselves, or they were already doubting themselves at that stage.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. A team that is down in the game and suddenly starts to believe. Well, I've been on the with Team GB with England. The most game is against Catalonia in somewhere early 2000s, but it's the same thing. It's the same psychological thing that happens on a pitch when players start to believe, and you see it drains out on the opponent.
Yeah,
Suddenly they start doubting and start trying to manage it. And I guess that is the big mistake, but it's a normal reaction. Is you want to try to manage it, but yeah, it's out of hand, and you come back in the score, and it's difficult to stop such a scoring line. You
absolutely. And I spoke to Edwin about this, and he was saying that, look, we shoot well on our first shot. We shoot 28-30% when we get a good first shot. Just keep believing in that, guys. Look,
yeah,
every time we get the ball, we've got good percentages in our favor. Okay, and if we miss that one, we've got a chance of getting it again. And if we get another good shot, then we've got another high 20s percentage of putting that one in. So he was very focused on us, what we can do, as attacking and make the percentages work for us. There was another significant point towards the end of the game, 38 seconds to go. DOS gave away DOS got a free pass.
yeah,
And then there was a timeout. And so they're two in the lead with 38 seconds to go. And he said there was a mention like just at the beginning of the timeout, should we shoot this? Like,
yeah,
what are we going to do? And he was very honest in what he said. Well, he said, look, we're a growing team. We're trying, there's so many things that we can work on, and the preparation is only what it is. So we hadn't discussed this particular situation of what it was. So there was no harm in this coming up. But he said, no, we
shoot it.
shoot this,
Yeah,
we score this, and we go down the other end, and then and then let that be kind of what we take out of this, rather than just kind of getting a collection.
yeah,
As it was, they did get a running in shot out of it. DOS passed it off the back, and then the girl come round, and Elena, and I thought had a good game, and she missed the running in shot, but DOS didn't. I think they didn't get that one there. Um, so yeah, it was very interesting talking to Edwin. The expectations coming in was that we were going to play a good game. They were coming off the back of a good game against Delta, where there was they scored well
yeah.
across the team sheet. I think the one that didn't score that many, or maybe only one, was is it Kim Van Dalen? I don't want to first Van Dalen, and her free pass in the first 10 minutes was just looking so beautiful, and it's looking. That's the sort of thing that really starts a game well when you get a player that's on their free pass,
Yeah.
and suddenly you can't foul as much around
Yeah,
there
yeah.
because she was shooting so well. And another significant thing I think that happened at the end of the game was, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, Dirk, because you will have an opinion, I believe. Um, Top gave away a free pass on purpose,
Yeah,
and then they turned it into a penalty on
on
purpose,
purpose to miss it.
and the penalty was missed. DOS did end up getting one extra shot out of it, which would have tied the game. But Edwin was saying that, look, he thinks that should be punished. That's kind of misbehavior. That's a green card, or that should be something to kind of like not have that in the game. But I know that if you ask the public, especially the ones that enjoy basketball, they're going to be going, no, keep that in. It's kind of it's
Yeah, yeah.
exciting. So where do you go with that, Dirk?
Um, it's a part of tactics. I don't think with any cards you can exclude it, because if I'm playing for top, I I want to take that yellow or that green card for the win. So
Yeah,
you can punish it and you can try to exclude it, but I think it's part of tactics. Should it be punished? Maybe. I think, well, if you look at basketball, they punish it with a personal foul. I thought we don't have to be a copy of basketball, but a green card should be right. Okay, you go 5 minutes, you don't play the last defense. Okay, that's it.
You take that for the team.
You take that for the team. It's a normal tactic, and we shouldn't be. I don't know how to put it in English. Prudent. I don't. Maybe that's the game or the name or the word. Just that's part of the game in football. In soccer, if you're the last defender and you get past and you pull the shirt and you take the red card or you take the yellow card or whatever.
I think the word probably prudish is probably quite close to it, to say, look, okay, fouls happen in the game. Some of them are accidental. Let me put some air quotes in there. And some of them are kind of semi on purpose, where you're leaning strongly because you're out of position. But it's just
and sometimes it's just, I'm gonna make that foul. Sorry.
But I think to be a serious grown-up sport, we have to recognise that happens, and then maybe make a decision about how we're going to punish it. But I think if you took a vote of spectators, they're going to say, put that in the game. I want to see the pressure moments.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I have no problem with such a tactic.
Yeah, I don't necessarily look. I wouldn't say you're a bad person for doing that. I'm just thinking. I'm just saying. Well, actually, so there should be a consequence to say. Look,
I agree.
Just could you because the green card is a lot stronger than a personal foul in basketball. Not that we're really going to relate too much to basketball. It is quite a strong punishment, but we are generally talking about the last minute, or 2 minutes. So overall, I think it's a difficult loss for Top, but look, it's not really going to matter that much in the season. I think new coaching team, they're trying to play to keep their old style and maybe trying to do something new. But I thought the bite was missing. I really thought that when they set out, when DOS 46 set out their I think it looks at their tallest girl, Kim Peterson. She was she defended okay, but in let's say in old ugly English korfball, we'd be looking at her and we'd be going, all right, Celeste on her, Celeste on her, Celeste on her. But Top want to play a full 360 game. They want to get everyone on the score sheet. They don't want to necessarily just say, okay, we only won this game because we found a weaker player. Not that she was particularly weak, especially after she probably adjusted, like in the first running in shot that Celeste got. And Celeste got 3, but it wasn't, let's say, the most powerful scoring experience that she's probably ever had. But so that doesn't really mean anything. It probably means more to DOS 46 than it does to Top. And DOS 46 can take that now going into probably what could be a really interesting game against Davy O next week.
Yeah, I think this result really is difficult for Davy O. They struggle. They got a tie against a direct competitor for the last playoff spot. And I think DOS has now made a statement of we're a real contender for the first 2 spots, maybe, in this stage. So we don't look down. And Davy O will have to step up their game now. And it's almost a matter of do and die, because they played Dalto and KC already, and they got only 1 point out of it. So that's going to be a real issue for them. So the next game, Davy O will be interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I spoke with Edwin about that, and we have a similar opinion about them. They're a good team. They probably underperformed up until now in terms of the results that they're getting out of it. And he's going to be speaking to his team about the backlash that could be coming from Davy O, because they're ready to play well. There's do or die. There's nothing. They got nothing to lose now. Look, you've lost a few points. Maybe they can get into 4th, which is the playoffs, which is good, which got to be fantastic. They're going to be running out and against KC or probably something like that. KC had another good week this week. So I think that should be like a really good one to watch. DOS 46 versus Davy O next week. Top go on to play Fortuna, completely different sort of game. in particular for the mental attitude that goes into that.
Yeah.
Big players like to play big games. They don't like to play middle of the table teams quite so much. I'm sure Top are going to be back and back to aggression, a bit more bite in the attacking against a Fortuna team that I haven't seen yet this season, but I'm expecting good things from them.
Yeah, I'm kind of like curious. Speaking of the PKC result, because I haven't watched the game, but speaking of the result, it's 47 to put that in against Oost Arnhem. I'm curious now. They're shouting to get the league back to 10. There are voices that say, "Well, we have too many teams, and this kind of results is counterproductive." What's your opinion on that?
I think there was good reasons to expand it to 12 this year, because promotion and relegation didn't really work. And actually, I'll throw something else in, is that Kees Oldenburg's actually talking about making it even slightly bigger this year because they can't really relegate anybody, and it's really hard. There are a couple of teams that perhaps this season they would have come in. And look, sharing the Korfball around a little bit, I've got no problem with that. And so long as, let's say, the Oost Arnhem team take something positive out of it and move forward and actually then become a better team, become a better club from that, well, then you can say that is a good thing. The alternative is, you could shrink it down and the kind of just have the best teams playing each other. But I think it would be boring. And if you kind of like were really, really chopping the league down, would you have DOS 46 in there? And you probably would. So you certainly have them in the top 10. But if you're going to make it any smaller, well then actually then we wouldn't get that game like we did yesterday.
I have to give Oost Arnhem credit for what I've heard or what I've read is that they kept on playing their style. They didn't do anything different. You get beaten, you get in half. It's the scoreline in the half time is just huge, and you just keep on playing your game, and that's credits. Okay, take a beating, but learn. Yeah,
that's what I liked about DOS 46 is they went to play their game, and of course you have to adapt to the opposition. But you can't be a slave to what they want you to do. You have to play what you did. And defensively, I thought they were great. Just really want to mention that again. I thought, as Edwin said, that they've defended each player, the four of them. They worked very hard for each other, and it was the same in attack. Get your first shot. They got the first shot. The second feed wasn't great. Sometimes it got pushed out a bit too far at times, but they're really working hard to get a decent second shot. If teams are doing that, then they're going to get better. If they're out there to, they've got good coaching, and virtually all the Korfball League teams have got good coaching. They've got coaching staff. They've got statistics. They've got video replay. It's just, PKC is probably the team that is just the most mean and aggressive and focused on running goals in out of all the teams that are there. So they are going to run up some big scores at times. Let's see how Oost Arnhem go against the teams in the mid-table and that mid-level, because maybe they deserve to be in that top 10. But I wouldn't, from my understanding of where Case's head is at the moment, I wouldn't expect it to get any smaller than 12.
No.
One of his ambitious ideas is to maybe expand it, because he thinks it's a bit unfair, and it was all about fairness this year. Is just making sure that the teams that really kind of should be there or thereabouts get a chance to play korfball. And at the moment, they've got 12 teams playing korfball instead of 10, and all of the second teams that go along and play. So the actual number of people playing korfball is much bigger because of this year. Exceptional circumstances call for, sometimes you have to kind of break your rules, and okay, PKC just going to have to enjoy that win for what it is, and then let's see what Oost Arnhem could take from it.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things Edwin said as well, was that, if you're going to do something, this season's not for like a middle team or a lower team. This season is the sort of season that you might, be able to kind of get some strange results. I think they've all prepared as best they could, but you know, it's not the same as having that great outdoor season that they generally use to take into the indoor season. And they're all following protocols. So and I would imagine that's restricting them a fair bit. But really, I don't mind. Look, look, I prefer it closer, and I'm enjoying what I'm watching at the moment. I think they're getting like good views, a lot of viewers on the icons, and so everybody's happy at the moment, except for people that aren't playing. But hopefully everybody's working on that.
Yeah. Okay. I think
Okay, Dirk.
we're there. Thank you again for your time.
Hey, yeah, nice to see you.
We're looking forward to the next weekend of new exciting korfball games. Thank you.
Sure. Take care, Dirk. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.